I have honestly never seen such an awkward bag design from Hermes. Hi guys, my name is G.P.S. and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I thought that I would share with you guys my thoughts on the new bags that Hermes is supposed to be launching for fall 2020. I'm not sure when any of these bags will hit the stores because obviously based on the current situation, I assume all production had to be put on hold. But Hermes is already a brand that's known for, well, taking their time. They're definitely not a company that's known for their quick turnaround times. And while I do love them dearly and I find them to be a great company, they definitely like to take their times with launches and releases. There are pieces from the fall 2019 collection that I'm still waiting for and pieces that are still yet to hit the stores, even though it's already 2020 and we're far away from fall. But anyway, we'll have to see when any of these bags hit the stores, and whenever they do, I'll definitely let you guys know. There are 3 bags in the new fall winter collection that are rumored to be launching. 2 of them actually walked down the runway during Paris Fashion Week, so they're kind of confirmed. And then the 3rd bag is one that there are only rumors about out there. But I did try to do my own research and I talked to a couple of people from Hermes a couple of weeks ago when the stores were still open, which is actually over a month ago now. But I did ask about that particular bag, and while no one could confirm the rumors, they had also heard about it, which I think says a lot, and I'll definitely give you guys all the information that I have available. But if that rumor is true, I think it's going to make a lot of customers really happy. So if you want to hear about these new bags that Hermes is supposed to be launching for fall 2020, and you want to hear about my personal thoughts on them, then please keep on watching. I have my laptop right in front of me just so I can look at the pictures with you guys, and I'll make sure to put a lot of pictures up here and also some video clips if I have them available of the bags, because obviously I've never seen them in person. They haven't come out yet, so I cannot show you guys actually in person or, well, over the camera. But the first bag that I will be talking about is one that walked down the runway during Paris Fashion Week, which was, I believe, a couple of months ago at this point. And it is a handheld bag, which doesn't have a name yet, or at least we don't know the name. I think it was inspired by the clochette, which you get with most of your Hermes purchases. So I will be referring to this from this point on as the clochette bag, which I'm not sure if it's even true, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. So it is a very interesting, quite boxy shape that I do like. I think it's a very creative idea. However, the execution, I think to me it looks quite disappointing. As I mentioned, I'll have pictures up here, so definitely you should guys let me know your thoughts. I find the execution to be quite poor. I find the bag to be way too narrow, and it does look like that there is kind of a structured compartment on the inside, almost as a pocket, so you can go in and out of your bag and things will not fall out. So you have kind of an evenly shaped pocket on the inside, but I'm not a fan of how they made this bag. Just looking at the pictures, if you look at the stitching, it looks quite odd, which I'm sure they will fix because these are only samples, but I don't know, I'm just not really convinced by this. First of all, as you guys can see, it comes with a longer handle, which is attached by this bulky metal piece, which actually reminds me of a seat belt. I don't know what this reminds you of, guys. I personally am not the biggest fan. I think it kind of looks chunky and kind of odd. And there doesn't seem to be any other way of holding it. You can only either hold it around the handle, or maybe you can put the handle around your wrist, or yeah, that's really pretty much it. There's no way that you can put this across your shoulder because I think the strap is way too narrow. So I do have a feeling that this is mainly intended to be enjoyed by people who like the Picotin, because the Picotin is kind of a similar design. There are only so many ways you can hold it because it doesn't come with a strap or a longer handle, and the handles that it does come with are quite restricted because they're quite short. But the good thing about the Picotin, the way I like to wear Picotins, is that on the Picotin on the inside, you do have 2 little metal hooks that you can use to fasten your bag. And what I do with the Picotin is I like to put a shoulder strap on the 2 edges, and that's the way I would wear a Picotin personally. With this one, maybe you will find different ways of styling it, but right now it's not winning over me. I don't know, how do you guys feel about this? Do you like this design? I personally would not buy this, and it definitely is not calling out my name. It seems like that this does come in a variety of different colors and leathers. I do see it in smooth leathers, I do see it in heritage leathers, as well as some of the newer leathers, and there are definitely a bunch of different colors. And in terms of price, obviously we do not have any information about the price at this point. My educated guess, just based on buying Hermes pieces for years at this point, would be that this bag is going to be around $6,000 because there's a lot of leather, a lot of stitching that goes into this. So that would be kind of my educated guess. But this is not a bag that personally I'm thinking about picking up, or I would even be tempted to look at in person. And as I mentioned, I do like the concept. I like the idea that they're taking inspiration from the clochette, if they actually did. I mean, I don't know, that's just my guess. But if they did, I think it's very creative. But the execution is just not something that I appreciate. I find that because it's so narrow on top, I have a feeling that when you have to go in and out of the bag, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be hard for you to find things inside because the top is just so narrow. So I guess I have to see it in person, but at this point, it's not a bag that I will be requesting from my essay. However, there is one thing that I'm a huge fan of, which is not a bag. I know this video is about bags, but I did want to mention this. And if you guys want to hear more about their ready-to-wear pieces and my thoughts on their ready-to-wear, then definitely let me know in the comment section down below. I'd be more than happy to do that. But what I am a huge fan of in one of the looks is the color details that Hermes is doing for fall winter. They are doing these new color designs where they have either a KYLIE choker necklace or a little scarf inside the color of the sweater or inside the color of the turtleneck, which I think is a very nice touch. Hermes has been experimenting with adding more unique hardware and more unique leather pieces to their collections, and I am a huge fan of the turtleneck with the KYLIE choker. The KYLIE choker is one that came out, I think, last year, and it is still available, which I think was a very cute look. I mean, personally, I would never wear just a choker around my neck. But if you're someone who likes necklaces, and you would, then they definitely have a KYLIE choker available. And you could easily make that turtleneck yourself. If you have a turtleneck that you like, you can easily put the choker over it and kind of make it look very similar, or at least have a similar styling feel to it. But I do really like the turtleneck, and with Hermes ready-to-wear, most of the things you can make unisex. You can deem them unisex if you want to. And then let's look at the second bag that walked down the runway in Paris, which is a crossbody bag, it seems like. Hermes has had this pattern for the past couple of years where they kept releasing more casual crossbody bags that I feel are inspired by the Constance bag in some shape or form. They do take design elements from the Constance bag and they kind of put it on different designs. I think it started with the Veru bag that they released, which I think was quite a big hit. A lot of people really enjoyed it, both with the chain and then both with the shoulder strap. I find that to be the most similar to the Constance in terms of the shape and the way it was structured. Then they released, I think, the 2002 bag, which in my opinion was a huge fail, but this is just my personal opinion. I have no information how well it sold. But the 2002 bag has a very interesting story. It was designed in the early 2000s by Hermes, and they felt that the design was too futuristic for that time, so they put it in their archives. And then a couple of years ago, they brought it out and they started making it because they felt that now the world is ready to see that futuristic design. To me, the hardware does not look futuristic at all. It reminds me of a cartoon superhero like a Batman sign. It does not scream elegance or Hermes to me personally. And I'm not a fan of the way they constructed the shoulder strap either. I find it to be a little odd, even though it's inspired by the Constance bag. I don't know, I'm just not a fan of the 2002 bag. And then last year or the year before, they came out with the Mosaic bag, which, I don't know, I don't even know where to start. That bag does not look elegant, it does not look refined, it doesn't scream high quality to me. Because if you buy a piece from Hermes, you might not want it to scream Hermes. You don't necessarily want it to have a huge H in it or something like that, but you definitely want it to show off their craftsmanship, what they're able to do, and you want it to look like a high-end piece, I assume. And if I'm completely wrong, then definitely let me know. But that's kind of the assumption that I have when you're spending so much money on a piece. And the Mosaic bag does not deliver any of that to me. It reminds me of a bag that you would pick up from Tory Burch or maybe Burberry. There's nothing Hermes about to me. And I did hear a couple of people say that it reminded them of the logo of this pet food company. I think they're called Purina. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, it's this pet food company that has an identical logo to the hardware that Hermes used on their Mosaic bag. So for me, that bag was an absolute pass, and I wouldn't recommend that for anyone. But if you do own that bag and you like that bag, then definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to kind of hear your thoughts on that bag, because everyone should do whatever they want to do. You should enjoy whatever you like, but that's just my personal thought on that particular bag. And then for fall 2020, they're expected to release a new crossbody bag, which, as I mentioned, walked down the Paris runway just a couple of months ago. And it is a little bit more substantial than their previous designs. It is a little bit more boxy, and it has a very interesting and unique shape. If you look at the bag at the bottom, it has a very interesting curve that reminds me of a saddle. And it is something that Hermes has used on previous bags before. But to me, it came through beautifully on this bag. I think it just goes really well with the more casual feel that this particular piece has. And then on the front, it comes with a chunky hardware piece, which I assume is the closure. And it reminds me of, because of the flat edge, to a stirrup. I could see it being maybe a horsebite, but to me, it is more of a stirrup piece, which is again still very much rooted in the brand's equestrian heritage. So I could definitely see that being the inspiration. And again, I don't know if it is, that's just what it reminds me of personally. But I do find this to be a very unique and interesting design, and I could definitely get on board with this, whereas I wasn't a fan of the previous bag design. And I do like that it has an adjustable strap, which I think is one of the biggest downfalls of the Constance bag, that you cannot adjust the strap. And let's say if you're taller, then the Constance bag can look a little bit odd on you. So I think it is nice that they are making more bags with adjustable straps. However, I think it is going to become an issue when you actually try this bag on, because it seems like the strap is attached to the back from the back. And the last bag that they released that had a similar strap mechanism was the 2424 bag. And when they released the 2424 bag, I was really excited. It came in two different sizes, a small and a large. And then the small one did come with a shoulder strap, the larger one didn't. But when I tried on the smaller version with the shoulder strap, it just looked very awkward on me, because instead of having the attachment for the shoulder strap on top like the KYLIE bag or on the side, it was only attached to the back. So when you put on the bag, the leather is already quite heavy. So the bag completely tilts forward. And once you start putting things inside of your bag, it's just an absolute disaster. I think it looks really awkward. And I have a feeling that something similar is going to happen with the stirrup bag, because once you start putting things in here, it's just going to weigh your bag down and it might start falling forward. And it might be one of the reasons why this piece was styled like this on the runway. I can imagine them making the styling choice for two reasons. Either they didn't want to put a crossbody on the models because that would disturb their outfits and they wanted to show off as much as possible of the ready-to-wear, or they knew that it's going to tilt forward, so they thought it would be a better choice to just kind of hand carry it in their hands, because this is clearly a bag that most people are going to be wearing around their shoulders or maybe crossbody even. But I guess we'll have to see when this comes out in person. But I wanted to warn you that that is a design flaw. I'm not sure if it's a design flaw, but it is something that I personally didn't appreciate on the 2424 design. Based on the pictures, it definitely comes in at least two sizes, either 2 or 3 sizes, but definitely at least 2. And it seems like it comes in a variety of colors and leathers. I can definitely see it in more of a smooth leather finish, and it also comes in grained leathers, so maybe Epsom or the new Madame calfskin, which is a newer leather by Hermes. It's quite hard to tell the difference between the Epsom and the Madame leather. I find the Madame leather to be a little bit more shallow in terms of the grains, and the grains are a little bit smaller, but in terms of the effect and the feel, they are quite similar. And from experience, I know that Epsom is a great leather for bags because it is quite a durable leather. So I do really enjoy pieces in Epsom. And in my opinion, this bag looks great. I mean, if you're an Hermes fan and you're looking for more of a casual bag, then I could definitely get on board with this. I will definitely look at it when it comes out in person. And in terms of price, we don't have much information at this point. Well, actually no information at all. But what I can tell, it's my educated guess, the smaller bag is probably going to be around $8,500, between $8,500 and $9,000. And I assume the larger one is going to be between $9,500 and $10,000. And last but not least, the third bag that I'm going to tell you guys about is one that is only being rumored to launch in 2020. I really cannot confirm this. I did try to talk to a couple of people from Hermes last time I was in store, which was way over a month ago now. And they couldn't confirm the rumors, they couldn't deny it. But they had also heard about these rumors, which I think says a lot. So either a lot of people are talking about it, or there might be something in the air regarding this bag. And if this really happened, it would be more of a collection rather than just one piece of bag. And there are rumors out there that Hermes will be coming out with a So Pink collection based on their So Black collection that came out over 10 years ago. So I think it would mark the 10-year anniversary of their So Black collection. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, the So Black collection was one that was designed by Jean-Paul Gaultier when he was still leading Hermes in terms of their creative direction. And it was a beautiful, very interesting design from Hermes. They basically launched a collection of bags and a couple of accessories. In terms of bags, they had Birkins, KYLIEs, and KYLIE pochettes, both in box leather and in matte croc or matte alligator. I think it was either matte croc or matte alligator. I have a feeling that it was croc for most pieces. And everything in that collection was black, including the hardware and the packaging. So they basically coated the hardware in using a very interesting technique where they basically put black PVD on the regular hardware, which is usually gold or palladium, or now you can also get it in rose gold. They basically use this PVD coating technology that allowed them to make black hardware. However, based on what I know about this collection, it was very short-lived. First of all, because it was meant to be limited. And secondly, the technology at the time wasn't evolved enough to create high enough quality pieces for Hermes to sell these pieces long-term. Because I heard quite a few people complain about the quality of the So Black hardware. They say that the PVD coating chipped quite easily, and when you took it back into the store to have it repaired, there was nothing Hermes was really able to do. So Hermes decided to discontinue this collection shortly after they started making them because of the quality issue. I mean, Hermes would never release something that they cannot repair. Their whole point is that their pieces are such high quality that you can repair anything that they create. But I assume times change. It has been almost 10 years since that collection launched. So I'm sure they have found a different source, or maybe they have learned about different technologies that now they can use to coat the hardware in different colors. So I'm excited to see if that collection really happens. If it does, I'm sure people will go crazy globally, because I remember even last year when Hermes released a new pink, it was the 5P pink, which was brought back from the archives. I think a lot of you might know it as, there was a name that Instagrammers and resellers gave the color. Was it neon pink? No, it was bubblegum pink, I think. That's the name they gave it, even though that the original name was 5P, which is the color code, and then pink. I got offered a piece in that color that I'll put a picture of up here, but I mean, I wouldn't buy many pieces in pink, so I decided not to move ahead with that purchase. But if the So Pink collection really launches this year, I think people will go absolutely crazy for it, especially because Hermes's pinks are so unique and so beautiful and saturated. So I think they could definitely do some beautiful pieces. And if I hear anything, if I get any updates, I'll definitely let you guys know in a later video of mine. And this is it, guys. This completes my video on all the new releases that we can see, hopefully from Hermes in the near future. And please let me know in the comment section down below if you'd be interested in any one of these pieces, if you think they live up to the standards of Hermes, if you think that they are a good representation of the brand and their values, and if you would consider picking up any one of them. And if you like this video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.